Hello and welcome to Peggy's Plants, coming to you from Central Florida. Today I'd like to show you how I save my Alocasia Sente from rot and spider mites. If I had to pick a group of plants that I felt like were just beautiful, that I'm all into, but I have very few of and am hesitant to purchase, it would have to be the Alocasias. Alocasias are beautiful plants and I love them, don't get me wrong. But there's a reason that I only have a few of them. They are notorious for being spider mite magnets. Why, I do not know, but I can definitely say I get more spider mites on Alocasias than anything else, and I have so few of them. I was so excited to get this Alocasia Sente from an importer. I was excited about this plant. I had been wanting one of these plants, but of course in the back of my mind I'm thinking spider mites. I checked the plant out. It was nice and healthy. I treated it. I figured all I have to do is acclimate this plant and I'm ready to go. Popped it into my grow tent and some Leca, and yeah, 3 weeks later, spider mites, like webbing everywhere. And it's funny because I did leave this unattended for an extended period, for the 3 weeks pretty much, because I had other things going on, but nothing else in the tent ended up with spider mites, believe it. Well, 2 other plants did end up with spider mites, but the rest of them did not. But as you can see, they're all over this Alocasia. I've heard it said that plants in Leca won't end up with spider mites. They may be a little less susceptible because there's no soil there and stuff. But as you can see, yeah, this plant definitely has spider mites. So what I use for spider mites most times is this Captain Jack's dead bug juice, and it does an amazing job. It works for me. It's very effective and it gets rid of them quickly. So of course I pulled this out. I like also that you can get the refill bottles of this and just put them in there and you're ready to go. I also love that this mentions spider mites, because there are a lot of things out there that will kill pests on your plants. But if they don't specifically say spider mites or something dealing with spiders, they might not kill arachnids. So you need to check on that. And then on the back, there's a booklet. This takes care of a whole lot of things. It's multi-purpose. That's why I like it. And it's also safe for organic gardening. So all good stuff. So I cut off all the leaves on this plant, left the nub, treated it, sprayed it down good with the dead bug juice, put it back in my grow tent, and I double bagged it with some Ziploc bags. 3 weeks later, I check into my grow tent, and look what we have here. There is a leaf, ladies and gentlemen. It didn't take long at all, but it's doing well in here. So I want to open this. I want to be safe, so I took it downstairs to my laundry room. Once again, I'm going to treat it with the dead bug juice just to make sure that all the pests are gone. But at first inspection, things are looking pretty good. As you can see, another leaf had opened and died off at some point. But the plant is looking much better. Didn't take any time for this leaf to grow. Like I said, it's been in here for 3 weeks. So again, I'm going to treat this plant because I don't want to introduce it to the rest of my plants. Even though everything looks well, I want to make sure we're good to go. As you can see, there's a lot of algae in this vessel, which is normal. It's a reaction between the moisture and the light. You're going to get algae. So I will also take this opportunity to clean the Leca, clean the vessel, and treat this plant first, just to make sure that there's no spider mites. Spider mites are pests that you think you've eradicated them, and then 3 weeks later, here they are again. So I will treat this plant frequently, and I also do that with my other alocasias. Just out of the blue, I'll go and spray them down. So as you can see, we've got some nice roots going down there. So I'm going to clean this up and take it from there. So I have poured everything into this large bowl. As you can see, we have an algae mess in the vessel, but everything seems to be okay with the plant. Grown nice water roots and the old roots are dying off, which is to be expected, but this looks like rot here. Yeah, at the end of this stem, there is rot. This softness should not be here. So I'm going to clean off all the dead roots and then scrape off all of the rot until I get to healthy tissue. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, I'm back. I have cleaned off all of the dead roots, scraped off all of the rots, and I'm filling the vessel back with Leca. I will leave a link to my Growing in Leca video. I like doing it the way I do it because I use the drainage hole to make sure that my water level, I'll always know where my water level is when I use a drainage hole. And now with this plant this way, I know that the plant itself is high enough above the water level that it will never sit in water, and therefore it shouldn't rot. At least it won't rot based on it being left in water or too damp or anything like that. Also, having the drainage hole helps you to flush out mineral deposits and stuff like that from using fertilizer or feeding your plant. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sprinkle in some systemic granules so that hopefully in the future this plant will not end up with spider mites again. I just sprinkle it on, and then when I water this, it will rinse it down into the leca, and the roots will uptake some of the systemic and disperse it throughout the plant. And if any any pest comes and starts nibbling on this plant, then it will be eradicated. So now here it is. I have put it back with the rest of my plants. As you can see, it is not anywhere near any other alocasias. I find that when you don't put them together with other plants that are highly susceptible to spider mites, you're less likely to get them. But I will continue to check on this plant on a regular basis. It's been 3 weeks. I'm just doing another health check. And again, like I said, I'm going to treat this plant again, even if I don't see any evidence of spider mites or anything like that. It has definitely grown. You see I have 2 leaves now. The stems are longer. The plant is looking really good. So I'm thrilled. It looks like I'm going to have an Alocasia Sente after all. I did change it from the glass vessel because I ended up with one of these little pots available, and I'm still doing the same thing. Basically, the strings are wicking up moisture to the leca, which is feeding the roots of the plant, but the plant itself is high enough from the water level that it should remain dry, so I don't have to worry about rot. So it's doing very well. I expect that it will continue to do well, but I'm definitely keeping an eye on it because I know it's an alocasia and a spider mite magnet. 3 months later, this is what the plant looks like. Not a whole lot of change. It's much taller. It's looking really healthy. I haven't had any die off on this plant. I haven't seen any evidence of spider mites. And I know it seems excessive, but I am going to spray it again with the dead bug juice. It doesn't do any harm to the plant. It is organic. So I don't hesitate to use it. But it looks like my Alocasia Sente is definitely going to make it. But like I said, I will always keep an eye on things because it is an alocasia. I will not put this with other alocasias because when you put a group of alocasias together, you end up with a spider mite village, and that is definitely not what we want. So there she is, growing in her wild as it's going to get in my house. But that's where she's living now. She's enjoying it, nice and healthy, no problems. None of the plants around her have had spider mites, so not worried about any of that, but trust and believe I sprayed them down as well. So that is how I saved my Alocasia Sente from spider mites as well as rot. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you so much for taking time out to watch. I appreciate your support. Take care. and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.